Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrainsolutions.com on a Friday, 6th day of February 2026. Getting a pretty significant bounce in all of these really battered asset classes, Bitcoin and so forth. So let's get right into the charts. Check it out. So, first off, let's get into Bitcoin because Bitcoin sentiment is getting very, very extreme at the moment, or got very extreme, yes, yesterday. So, no surprise we're getting a bounce off of let me bring up the chart, off the 60K levels, really where we bounced. Uh, there really wasn't a level per se at the 60K, just a nice round number. The question obviously now is this just a dead cat bounce, kind of a reflexive rally, or any meaningful trend change? Obviously, we won't know that until after the fact. But for now, the levels to watch would be 75K, and then there's a gap to fill at 80K, which, this bounce could take us there. We had attempt of a rally here and that failed miserably. So we'll see if if this is actually any meaningful type of change for now. So be watching that. IBIT and all the kind of ancillary stocks like Coinbase and uh, Strategy, and all those are also having a pretty significant bounce. But that's really the key story here. Also, obviously Nasdaq, particularly the software sector, basically the Nasdaq came right to the early November lows here, mid-November lows, and bouncing. So we basically established this massive range. It's similar to Bitcoin. Is this rally going to take us all the way up to the top end of the range, or it's going to fail? One thing to note very quickly is the correlation between that has really been broken with Bitcoin and and the Nasdaq. So you see similar charts here. The level again on this one's going to be 25,500. We'll see if that uh, goes through that, or and rolls over, or we go back to the top end of the range. Still obviously this is just a very uh, oversold bounce here. Everybody's making a big deal out of a new high in the Dow, which I, this is obviously this only 30 stocks price weighted. I wouldn't pay attention too much to that. I mean, it's just, it's only 30 stocks, and really just kind of almost, it's got some of the big ones, it's got Goldman and all that. So that just speaks to the dispersion, the rotation going on with a lot of these, Caterpillar and all these other industrial stocks that are doing better than the Nasdaq. The huge discrepancy though between Nasdaq and particularly some of these stocks. So I wouldn't really pay much attention. Also notable, the VIX on this last little selling bout here. Uh, Interestingly, what's different here about what this bounce that we're getting now, which I think is leads to me to believe that we may, I mean, eventually we're probably going to get a bigger sell-off. Even the in November and September and October sell-offs got the VIX up to 30. This only got up to here. So I think we may need we may need to get up to 30 and maybe get a little bit more selling here to get a real bottom in that is durable. So this is worth watching next week. Rates, not much happening there. Let's see if we break below, stay below 420, then we're probably headed right back down to 410, but nothing happening there. We got non-farm payrolls next Wednesday, which would be interesting. And the dollar stalling out here as well. Not a lot happening there. Gold and silver's kind of churning now in a consolidation, I would say, uh, based on all these huge moves that we've had. I think we're probably getting into a big whippy type pattern. 50, 5,100 to possibly 4,500, probably going to be the range established now in gold. Similarly with silver, uh, silver had a much bigger pullback. And similarly, I think we're probably getting into a big whippy range. That's typically what happens after these huge moves. You get into this consolidation phase. Oil stuck here, can't get above 6,600, also churning here. This is an Iran story. If things continue to heat up with Iran, I think oil probably breaks out, goes to 70, but they ease up, probably goes back to 55. So this is basically largely driven by that. And then nat gas, also in a period of consolidation uh, after these massive moves we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Um, since December, really these huge moves. Now I think market's a little bit fatigued. All in all, next week we got more earnings. I think the same themes prevail. We just have to see. And again, I think at the end of the day, I think the market's going to continue to range bound. I think the rotation is still going to be a feature of the markets. So you have to look at individual stocks. You have to, by the way, this is going to be a long and short type of deal. Um, if you shorted all the software names in the last couple, 3 weeks, you did great. Um, but now they're getting a little overdone, and obviously the bounces are going to be important, the character of the bounces and so forth. In any event, subscribe to the newsletter. I got a class coming up in about a week and a half. So look for that. Sign up for the newsletter. I'll be writing about some interesting stuff this weekend. So sign up for the newsletter and enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. Until next week, have a great weekend.